You are not doomed to spend more than you should on your Disney World vacation. Stay tuned. I'm going to teach you all about how you can save on things like Beauty and the Beast dining experiences, character-inspired makeovers, even packing your bags might be costing you more than you realize. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Vlog. Disney World has experienced several major changes and several major price increases this year, and we've been burning the midnight oil trying to figure out how to help you not get burned. We're going to talk about some new ways to save big bucks in 2023, from transportation to park tickets, hotels, and more seriously expensive aspects of a Disney vacation. Because we know this video is going to be super popular and handy for a lot of you who are starting the 2023 Disney World planning process. We've got this whole list of savings ready to send your way. So if you're interested in getting a PDF copy of all the things we're talking about today, drop us your email at disneyfoodblog.com/2023 savings. We're going to send you our digital list straight to your email after this. Now, here's one of our favorite savings tips that we've used on several different occasions and will continue to use throughout 2023, so you should too. This is that new sneaky ticket savings trick. Congratulations, you've just stumbled upon the foolproof way to pay less for your Disney World tickets. We're going to use some visuals here because I'm a visuals person. Let's say you wanted to get 4 days of park tickets toward the beginning of August 2023. Take a minute and check out all the different price ranges listed throughout the month. With 4-day park tickets, you're looking at prices that range between $106 and $125 per day. But that doesn't mean you're going to have to pay a different price each day of your visit. Rather, the price you pay for all 4 park days will depend on which day you choose as your starting point. So if you choose, say, August 9th as your starting day, you'll be paying $116 per ticket for all 4 of your park days. So here's where you start saving money. Park tickets are good to use during a range of times. So if you purchased 4 days worth of tickets, you could make Park Pass reservations for 4 different days during the span of an entire week, which kicks off on the day of my selected starting date. Your range of time during which you're going to be able to use those park tickets will depend on the number of days you're planning on visiting. So the more days, the bigger the range. Sure, you can start visiting parks immediately, like on day 1 of your selected starting range. But even if you wanted to start visiting the parks a little later on and use the first couple of days for travel or relaxation purposes, you can do that too. So that means you could start visiting the parks on August 12th instead of on your selected starting date, August 10th, and that's totally okay. Even if the price for the next 4 days of park tickets is listed between $118 and $119, you'll still only have to pay the $116 price since that was your selected starting day. So in short, you're going to want to pick a starting day that's less expensive, even if it's not your official first day in the parks. As long as it falls within the allotted range assigned to how many days you're going to be traveling, you won't have to pay more for your tickets each day of your visit. Let's get started on the next major money-saving tip, which involves several costly traps that even our DFB fam has been guilty of stumbling into lots of times. Don't splurge on those unnecessary extras. Whether it's a few bucks more or a few $100 more, Disney likes to throw potential extra expenses your way to tack onto your already pricey vacation bill. And depending on you and the group you're traveling with, these extras might not do you a whole lot of good in the long run. Okay, let me show you a list of additional costs that could be worth it, but could also become an unnecessary splurge you wish you wouldn't have invested in. First up is preferred parking. So preferred parking at each of the Disney parks is $45 to $50 per day, just for the ability to park closer to the front gate. And that could be worth it if you want to make sure you're not parked way out in the boonies when you arrive later in the day. But usually you'll still be able to park fairly close to the front if you get up and around for those early theme park hours, which allow all resort guests to enter any of the parks on any day 30 minutes before they open to the rest of the public. Even if you arrive by rope drop, you should be able to snag a parking spot close to the gate rather than farther back. But unless you really don't want to risk parking further out, you can skip this extra expense. Not to mention, even if you do get preferred parking at Magic Kingdom, you're still going to have to take a ferry, monorail, or bus over from the Transportation and Ticket Center to the park. So it may save you a little bit of walking, but it's still going to be a long time to get in the park. Another splurge that you can axe to lower your budget is Deluxe Resorts. These can be a major unneeded extra expense if you only plan on using your hotel room to sleep in and really aren't going to spend a lot of time there otherwise. Deluxe Resorts have a lot of amenities and recreational activities and dining options, not to mention some swanky rooms, and that's all rolled into that high cost. But if your energy is going to be focused strictly on your park visit and not your hotel visit, then staying at a value resort or even a good neighbor hotel can help cut the price of your stay by hundreds of dollars each night. Not total, each night, which means you're going to save thousands overall. That next splurge that for a lot of folks is going to be unnecessary are those park hoppers, right? Those park hoppers give you the ability to explore lots of parks in a single day, but only after 2 p.m. rolls around can you hop. Before 2 p.m., you can only explore the park you've made a park pass reservation for. If you've got the time to thoroughly explore each park during your vacation, then you can get the standard single day tickets and save yourself the extra $65 to $85 per person. But if your trip is going to be shorter, maybe even a weekend excursion, then park hoppers can help you cover a lot of ground in a smaller time frame. Number 4 on this little list is Magic Band Plus. If you're looking to use the new features of the Magic Band Plus, the lights and the haptic vibrations that are triggered by the nighttime spectaculars and the golden character statues, then by all means, make that $36 to $46 investment per person. But if you're just looking for a Magic Band that'll hold all your reservation information, the OG Magic Bands are still capable of doing that. You can also hold all of that reservation information for free on your My Disney Experience app too, if you want to skip the Magic Band Plus purchase entirely. I personally do have a Magic Band Plus, and I didn't feel like it was necessarily worth buying. If you feel differently, please let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. The next extra splurge that you can cut out of your trip and save a bunch of money, Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. Letting your kid get an official Disney princess or prince makeover can be really cute, but you know your kid best, and if a $100 to $230 price tag for a quick photo isn't going to be worth it, then I would say skip that investment. Some of those kids love wearing their new princess dress around the park all day, or they've got their hair very, very carefully coiffed and they pay attention to it throughout the day, but other kids don't really care. And they're just sort of like, whatever, can I take out this bun now? So if that's your kid, then it's probably not worth that much extra money. Go ahead and grab a princess dress at a big box store and let them wear it with their gym shoes and sprinkle some glitter on their hair, and they're good to go. And buffets. Okay, buffets are great for folks who are super hungry and plan on making the most of that prix price, meaning they're ready to fill up their plates multiple times to get their money's worth. But if you're someone who'd rather eat several smaller meals throughout the day, or you're just a snacker, rather than eating one large meal to keep you satisfied for a long time, then it's best to skip the buffet and maybe even those prix meals and focus on the quick service or snack kiosks around the parks instead. We know how expensive Disney food is, and that can, again, save you hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Now, speaking of extras that just aren't worth it, stop paying for Genie Plus when you don't need it. Disney Genie Plus can be very useful, especially when it comes to its extensive list of Lightning Lane options, which is going to help you bypass those main queue lines for over 40 different rides across the 4 parks. But sometimes paying for this premium planning tool can be less helpful and more of an unnecessary extra cost. These are the times when you're going to want to skip that Genie Plus purchase. First, on a non-busy park day. I can already hear y'all now, but AJ, Disney World's always crowded. It definitely feels that way lately, but we did experience some slower days in Disney World this year. When school was back in session toward the end of August and throughout September, lines for rides were way more manageable, and having Genie Plus wasn't as worth the price per person per day. You can get an idea of when Disney will be expecting lower crowd levels just by looking at their day-based ticket prices on the Disney World website. If you're seeing ticket prices toward the lower end of the spectrum, you're probably not going to need Genie Plus as much as you would when ticket prices are hitting their peak. But those lower crowd seasons will also mean that Genie Plus prices will more than likely be lower too. Back in October, Genie Plus did switch to a surge price system, meaning prices fluctuate daily between $15 and $22 per person, at least until next year. And that all depends on demand. So, it's a catch-22. The less you pay for Genie Plus, the less likely you probably are to need it. But the more you pay, the more likely you probably will be to need it for certain parks. Next point with this Genie Plus situation, when you're visiting Epcot and Disney's Animal Kingdom, there are 2 parks you really don't have to worry about getting Genie Plus for on most days, and that's Epcot and Animal Kingdom. Epcot does have some rides that build pretty hefty lines, like Remy's Ratatouille Adventure and Frozen Ever After, for instance, but if you make the most out of your early theme park entry in evening hours and even use those single rider lines for Soarin' and Test Track if need be, then hypothetically speaking, you should still be able to manage all the rides you want to ride without long waits. Just don't forget to snag a boarding group for Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind at either 7 a.m. or 1 p.m. on your My Disney Experience app. Currently, that's the cheapest way to experience this ride, but you can also buy an individual lightning lane if that's the tack you want to take. Even if ride lines are looking a little hectic while you're at Epcot, there's so much to do here besides riding stuff. You can bide your time exploring the World Showcase, trying different festival foods, watching outdoor performances, wandering through side exhibits, and checking out the sea-based aquariums. And that means you can still have a fun-filled afternoon here without waiting in ride lines for hours on end. Because as you know, the rides are going to have the longest waits right there in the late morning and early afternoon. Then once people start leaving the park, those ride lines are going to get shorter. As far as Animal Kingdom is concerned, there's really not enough rides listed on the Lightning Lane options for Genie Plus to be worth your time and money there. And that's because there aren't a lot of rides in the park in the first place. Once again, you can fill your day with other Animal Kingdom activities by wandering down the animal-lined walking trails, watching the shows, trying the different cultural snacks, or just taking in the sights for a bit. But with or without Genie Plus, you should still be able to experience all the rides you want to within one day. Now, if you want to prioritize the a la carte Lightning Lanes, that's another reason to not spend everything on Genie Plus. Not every ride in the parks is going to be featured in the standard Genie Plus lineup of Lightning Lane offerings, those e-ticket attractions, aka the most popular rides in each park. Those are going to have an individual Lightning Lane, meaning you'll have to pay a surge price per person per ride just to ride those. Per the release of this video, these a la carte Lightning Lanes include Seven Dwarfs Mine Train in Magic Kingdom, Cosmic Rewind in Epcot, Rise of the Resistance in Hollywood Studios, and Flight of Passage in Animal Kingdom. Now, you don't have to pick and choose here. You can totally get Genie Plus and purchase up to 2 a la carte or individual Lightning Lanes per day too. But if you'd rather ditch the Genie Plus price altogether and focus solely on buying those a la carte Lightning Lanes just to make sure you can skip over the massive lines for the hottest rides, then you can do that instead and save a little money. And of course, you don't want to spend the money on Genie Plus when you arrive at the park too late. Lightning Lanes do book up, especially during a busy park day. So if you plan on arriving at the parks later, or you're already at the parks and you're thinking about purchasing Genie Plus when it's already getting into the afternoon, you're going to start off at a disadvantage. There's a good chance that many of the rides you're wanting a Lightning Lane for have already been sold out, or if not, they'll have a next available return time way later on in the evening. Buying Genie Plus later also means you're not going to be able to use that 120-minute rule to your advantage. Normally, you're only able to book your next Lightning Lane after you use the last one, but you can also book your next Lightning Lane after a 2-hour cooldown period. So if you book a Lightning Lane for, say, Slinky Dog Dash in Hollywood Studios, and the return time isn't for another 3 or 4 hours, you're still going to be able to stack up on Lightning Lane reservations and make a second one after 120 minutes have passed since you booked Slinky. And that's why it's better to purchase and start using your Disney Genie Plus as early as you can the day of your visit. Get the most bang for your buck. You can start making reservations as early as 7 a.m., though the 120-minute rule won't kick in until after the parks officially open for the day. I know, it's very confusing. All right, so many of Disney World's extra expenses really do walk a rather thin tightrope between being a great investment or a costly waste of money that could have been used elsewhere. So let's talk about one more extra expense that also deserves a section of its own. We're talking about Memory Maker. When you purchase Memory Maker for your Disney World trip, you're going to be able to keep all the PhotoPass pictures that are taken of you around the parks, including the candid ones on the rides that I'm never ever prepared for, even though I know exactly where the picture is going to be taken. No, it's just not going to work. I never look good in those. But Disney tries to pitch you this really great deal by telling you to add Memory Maker before your trip to save $30 on your purchase. But even with that $30 savings, you're still going to wind up paying $169 for this add-on. And let's be real here. How many of us really want every single one of those PhotoPass pictures to have and to hold forever and ever? More often than not, you'll think 2 or 3 of them turned out pretty cute, but you're probably not going to absolutely love all of them. Not to mention, your group might start resenting you when you're begging them to get in line for yet another PhotoPass opportunity to make the $169 worth your while. You don't have to pay for Memory Maker before your Disney World vacation to take PhotoPass pictures around the parks. You can opt to skip the Memory Maker entirely and just buy the pictures you want after your trip. You'll be able to see them all. You just won't be able to access them without the little PhotoPass watermark on them until you buy them. Now, 2 4x6 prints will cost you $18.95, while 1 5x7 will cost you $20.95. That means technically you could still purchase up to 8 different 5x7 PhotoPass pictures before you start to break even with the Memory Maker package. But if you want to skip the added prices entirely, you can always just, use your own phone. You can even ask PhotoPass cast members to take a picture of your group with your personal phone, and they'll happily oblige, free of charge. If having a ton of professional pictures of you and the family on a Disney World vacation is really important to you, and you want to make all your PhotoPass pictures your main souvenir for your trip, then make sure to purchase your Memory Maker package beforehand to save that extra $30. But also keep in mind that there are other way less expensive options out there that'll still help you fill those empty photo frames you've got lying around. So you know how we've talked several times in the past about Disney World's off seasons, where you can save more money on your resort stays than you would if you were visiting during their busiest time of year? What if I told you there was another way you can save that didn't force you to plan during a season that doesn't work for you? Turns out Disney hotels are much less expensive when you book them for weekdays like Monday to Thursday rather than throughout the weekends, Friday to Sunday. Quick example for you. Let's say I wanted to book a room at Wilderness Lodge, so my group of 2 adults, 2 kids could have access to the extended evening hours available for Deluxe Resort guests on certain evenings at certain parks. So I decide I want a 3-night stay for the first week of October. I book a room between October 2nd to October 5th, which means checking in on a Monday and checking out on a Thursday. A standard room during this time is costing about $507 per night. But what if I shifted my check-in date a few days back between October 6th to the 9th, which means checking in on a Friday instead? That standard room rate jumps to $598 per night. So we're looking at a difference of over $90 per night right there. Now, this isn't always going to be the case. Occasionally, you might find that certain weekend versus weekday rates aren't going to differ all that much. But more often than not, weekends are just naturally going to be more expensive, especially those holiday weekends. And that being said, if you're booking a deluxe resort room for those extended evening hours benefits, you're not just going to want to look at the weekend versus weekday pricings. You're also going to want to look into when extended evening hours are actually going to be available during your visit, which you can find on the Disney World calendar on their website. Ever since Disney Genie Plus switched its premium line bypassing services to a daily surge price system, it's also been following a similar price trend where weekdays seem to be a few dollars cheaper than weekends. A recent example, between November 2nd and 3rd, a Wednesday and Thursday, Genie Plus prices were more what we were used to them being before, $15 per day. But as soon as the weekend hit, prices jumped up to $20 per person. Again, there may be pricing discrepancies every now and then because Disney knows when demand is going to be at its highest and will plan accordingly. Especially for those holiday weekends, that's when a Monday might be real expensive. But since demand is more likely to skyrocket on those weekends when kids are off school, grown-ups are off work, you're more than likely going to see peak price tags appear around Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So if you want to shave a few bucks off your trip and you have the flexibility to plan a trip for the weekdays rather than the weekends, that's an easy way to save a lot of money all at once. This next money-saving tip is a major dining game changer for your 2023 trip. For the first time in forever, you don't have to be completely at the mercy of the Disney bubble to rely on your meals, even if you don't have your own car. So if you'd rather purchase something cheaper to eat, you can do that now. Delivery services like DoorDash and Uber Eats and Grubhub and all those guys can send fast food to your Disney World resort if you're looking for a more affordable meal. You'll be able to pick up your delivery at Bell Services for no extra charge. Same thing goes for your grocery delivery services too, like Instacart or Amazon Fresh. You can have groceries delivered directly to your hotel. That way, if you have a kitchen or a kitchenette, you can prepare meals in your room. Even if you don't have an in-room kitchen though, you can still purchase easy to prep stuff to take to the parks, like sandwich ingredients, fruits and veggies, granola bars, you name it. Now, keep in mind that delivery services can get pricey once you add in the service fee, the delivery fee, and the driver tip. Oftentimes, these delivery services will have pop-up savings for certain restaurants or specific time frames or new customer deals, or even just because. Make sure to keep an eye out for these savings so you don't have to worry about all the hidden charges that'll hike up that delivery bill. If you're planning on using a fast food delivery service, download multiple apps and compare prices to see which is going to give you the best deal at that given time. In the past, past, we've noticed that ordering from DoorDash was going to cost us less than ordering the same exact thing from the exact same restaurant through Uber Eats, and sometimes the tables are turned and we experience the opposite. It's good to have several different options on hand. And although these delivery services are free to use, if you plan on using them frequently, it could be beneficial to sign up for a monthly subscription to one of these apps, because subscriptions will usually run you about $10 per month, but with that membership, you'll be able to cut down on those delivery fees. But saving on delivery services doesn't just happen directly through the apps. Other subscription services you might have, like Hulu and Spotify, offer up free Dash passes and Uber One accounts so you can save on delivery fees, or in some cases get delivery fees dropped completely. Also, when you order something from a food or grocery delivery service, make sure you're getting your money's worth out of each order. Sometimes if your delivery order is just 1 or 2 items, you'll be expected to pay more of a fee if the total cost is under a certain amount of money. So if you're ordering groceries, order them for the week. And if you're ordering food, order it for the entire group for a single restaurant. Don't waste more money by making multiple tiny orders during your trip. And here's a fun savings tip for you. Many times these delivery services will let you make your first ever order with no delivery fees whatsoever, meaning you'd only have to worry about tipping your driver. So if this is your first time using Instacart or one of the other services, you may be able to use that leverage to your advantage if this type of savings is still happening when you sign up. Okay, this is a lot of talking at you, so let me show you a first-hand example of how much you could end up saving by using these kinds of delivery services. Let's say you decide to order a 24-pack of water from the grocery store via Instacart. If you're using free delivery through a coupon code or a pop-up discount, then you may have to tack on an extra snack or something to get the order up to $10, since the Instacart requires a $10 minimum purchase before you check out. So I'm going to add an 8 count of 20-ounce Powerade bottles for extra hydration. The average price for a 24-pack of water and an 8 count of Powerade is going to be about $15. You know how much $15 will get you for beverages on Disney property? Maybe 3 bottles of Powerade and maybe 3 bottles of Dasani. And I'm not talking together. I'm talking 3 bottles total. So 3 bottles at Disney versus 32 bottles using the grocery app doesn't take a math whiz to figure out the better deal here, especially if you're buying hydrating products for your whole family. So use these apps to your advantage and save money where and when you can on food and drinks. All right, want to pay less for more convenience, just like you would a food or grocery delivery service? Then you're going to love this next point. Look out for those rideshare deals. When Disney's complimentary transportation is taking way too long, but you don't want to navigate around Disney property in your own car, you can always opt to go the rideshare route and book Uber or Lyft to take you from point A to point B. The only problem there, you'll have to pay for each of those rides, and purchasing multiple ride shares throughout the week can start adding up big time, especially when you also have to factor in tipping your driver too. So much like you would a food and delivery service, you're going to want to track down those savings. One way to do that, by using rideshare loyalty programs. Now granted, loyalty programs can be an extra cost, like $10 per month for Lyft Pink. But with this extra expense, you'll unlock several benefits aside from just saving money on future rides, like $0 Grubhub delivery fees for a year, free priority pickup, even travel rewards that can go toward future stays at Hilton hotels or future flights with Delta and Alaska Airlines. But if you want to avoid paying an extra $10 per month on this service, if you don't plan on using it all that often, then you can still sign up for most any rideshare app for free, and they'll still send you pop-up discounts throughout the year via your email or text. During lighter travel seasons, we've been able to use major Lyft discounts, like getting 50% off our next 10 rides when using a valid Lyft promo code or coupon that had been sent our way. And if you usually use rideshare when you're in Disney World, that's where you can apply that. But don't rely on your email solely for Lyft discounts. You can also save money on future rides by checking out the coupon codes directly on the website. Usually these codes are directed toward new riders, but you may also see discounts that seasoned rideshare users can apply to their future rides as well. Lyft will also reward you with major savings when you invite friends to make their accounts. So as soon as your friend takes their first ride, you'll be rewarded credits that you can apply to future pickups. And most of the rideshare programs do this as well. Booking your Uber or Lyft earlier in the day before demand spikes can sometimes help you potentially book a cheaper ride, since prices don't change daily for these services, they change constantly. This isn't a foolproof savings tactic, but at very least it can be helpful for airport transportation at the end of your trip. If you're not using the Mears Connect or Sunshine Flyer buses and you're going to take a rideshare, booking it ahead of time can save you money. That way you know for sure you've got yourself in the queue for a pickup and won't have to potentially wait for a while for a ride to pop up and come get you if you're trying to travel somewhere during peak driving times like rush hour. One last rideshare tip for the road. Even if you have an allegiance to one rideshare service or the other, it's good to have multiples downloaded anyways so you can play that fun little price comparison game like we talked about with the food delivery services. Sometimes you may find better prices with Lyft. Other times, Uber could be half the price that Lyft's going to offer up. Again, these prices are changing constantly throughout the day, so you never know which one's going to offer up the better deal when you need it. So the best way to save money on transportation in Disney World is, of course, going to be to take their free Disney transportation. But remember, in Disney World, time is money. And the longer you wait for a bus, or the more times you have to transfer from bus to get where you're going, that could be literal hours spent in transportation and transition between one place and another. Sometimes paying $10 for a rideshare is going to get you 2 extra hours in a park. That's a lot, and it translates to a lot of money. And for those who do say thanks but no thanks to ride shares and Disney transportation, is there a way for Disney guests who prefer driving to save money too? Well, let's talk about ways to save on gasoline. When flights can seem just a little too expensive, traveling by car can be a better and more affordable option. But with the ever-changing gas prices, that'll more than likely continue to keep us on our toes throughout 2023. It's a good idea to start looking into ways to cut down on gas prices as much as possible. So here are a few of our new favorite ways to save when you're hitting the road for miles and miles and miles. Sign up for rewards programs, right? More rewards programs? Seriously? Yes, you'll more than likely want to pick and choose what rewards programs you'll want to sign up for, especially if they have monthly fees attached. But some rewards are completely free to sign up for. Circle K Easy Rewards, that's free to apply for either online or through the app, and will give you 10 points per every gallon of gas. After you build up your points, you can use them to save on future fill-ups. Gas rewards credit cards will also help you get a percentage of cash back each time you refill your tank, which may be worth looking into if you're frequently on the road. You can also track prices with gas apps. Need to find affordable gas soon? There's an app for that. Apps like Gas Buddy and Waze can help you track down the cheapest gas prices nearby. There are other gas-saving features on each app, as well as multiple other apps, but I'll advise for any of these rewards, memberships, loyalty programs we're talking about today, please read the fine print for all of these different sites and apps so you know exactly what you're signing up for ahead of time. You can also have your car engine inspected before you take off. According to a report by the consulting firm Energy and Environmental Analysis featured on money.com, engine troubles affect fuel economy by an average of 4%. Not only that, but more serious engine problems could affect mileage by as much as 40%. So it's good to make sure your engine's not going to give you any trouble while you're on the road, period. But if you can continue to keep it in nice shape, that can help save you more on gas than you may realize. And now it's time for a popular game of do this, not that. Just playing this game every once in a while can be super beneficial when it comes to savings in Disney World. You don't have to drop hundreds of dollars for a unique Disney activity anytime you want to add a little variety to your trip. So let's look at different expensive activities and compare them to their much cheaper counterparts that are still fun and awesome. First up is dessert parties. I like to think of the Magic Kingdom fireworks dessert parties in 3 different sections: by land, by air, and by sea. On land, you can book one of 3 different dessert parties directly inside Magic Kingdom, and they range between $99 and $119 per adult, depending on if you choose the pre-party, the after-party, or the treats and seats party, with the latter being the most expensive. You can also watch the Magic Kingdom fireworks high above the park when you book a prefix dinner over at California Grill at Disney's Contemporary Resort, where you'll be able to watch the show from the top floor on the hotel's private balcony. This dinner and show will cost you $89 per person, and though it won't give you a view of the castle projections like the Magic Kingdom dessert parties will, it will give you a 3-course meal, complete with your choice of appetizer, entree, and dessert, so it's a pretty good deal. Or you can choose the water-based option and book a dessert party on a boat, thanks to the Fairy Tale Fireworks Sparkling Dessert Cruise. This cruise provides desserts, a view of the show on Seven Seas Lagoon, and a bonus ultraviolet scavenger hunt, all for $99 per adult. But let's say you want a cheaper dessert and fireworks option, right? Like a much, much, much cheaper option. Then here's what you're going to do. Head to Disney's Polynesian Village Resort and grab yourself a treat, like maybe a cupcake from Captain Cook's Quick Service, a Dole Whip from Pineapple Lanai, maybe some chocolate-covered bacon from the Kona Quick Service upstairs, I don't know. And then find a spot on the beach. That's right, you can get a crystal clear view of the Magic Kingdom fireworks without forking over all the extra cash by just watching them from the comfort of the Polynesian beachside. The Polynesian will even pipe in the music from the show too for all the beachcombers out there. But let it be known that you will not be able to see the castle projections from this angle, so if that's a big deal to you, you still need to go inside the Magic Kingdom and possibly purchase one of those Disney Enchantment dessert parties if you want to guarantee a good view without fighting against the crowds. So $100 per person versus, I don't know, $6 per person. That's a pretty big savings. Another do this, not that. Amphicar Rides. Over at Disney Springs, attached to the Boathouse restaurant, you can take a ride aboard a half-convertible, half-boat around Lake Buena Vista for a 20-minute ride, captain-guided tour. Super cool stuff. The only problem is that it's a really high price tag. $125 for one 20-minute boat ride. And you're not going to find another boat car hybrid experience on property, so if that's something you really want to try out, then go for it. You can even save $25 on your ride if you've already spent $50 or more at the Boathouse restaurant, or even just at the Boathouse Boutique gift shop in general. Just present your receipt when making your walk-up reservation for your Amphicar, which is also located at the Boathouse. But if what you're really searching for is a boat ride across Disney waters, you can rent a pontoon boat, which seats up to 10 passengers at any Disney World resort with a marina for $45 per half hour. Or for an even cheaper alternative, you can rent a canoe or kayak over at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort for only $13 per hour. All rentals are first come, first serve, and no, you don't have to be staying at Fort Wilderness to do either or. You can just swing on by and grab a kayak canoe anytime they're available between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. But the sooner you can hit up the bike barn rentals, the more likely you'll be able to grab one before they're all taken up for the day. But I will honestly say taking out a boat on one of the Disney World lakes is super, super fun. I've taken out pontoon boats several times. And if you take those boats out on Bay Lake or Seven Seas Lagoon, you can actually go over the water bridge and go to the other lake. So you have a lot of ground to cover, I guess I should say lake to cover, if you decide to do this. It's a lovely, lovely experience. And I'm going to be honest, I will do that $45 pontoon boat every single time over the Amphicar. Every single time. It's a much better experience. Okay, the next do this, not that is specialty celebrations. Are you heading to Disney World to celebrate someone's very special day? You can add a little flair to these celebrations with surprise extras in your Disney hotel thanks to the Disney Floral and Gifts website. So they can add decor, floral arrangements, and gift baskets to your room before your arrival, but this extra expense may cost you between $60 and $200, depending on what you choose. For a less expensive option, you can also pre-order a Mickey Mouse celebration cake to be delivered during one of your reserved table service meals. These can serve 4 to 6 guests and come in either milk, dark, or white chocolate, and it's just a $39 extra charge on top of your meal, which is actually a pretty decent deal. But the cheapest way to celebrate a birthday in Disney World is grabbing those free birthday buttons. Birthday buttons, or any type of celebration button really, can be picked up at the front desk of your hotel or at guest services for any of the parks. These buttons not only let everyone in the parks know whose big day it is, but also increase your chances for free desserts at select Disney restaurants. You won't always get a free dessert, but it does frequently happen when you're wearing those celebration buttons. So it's always good to wear that button with pride everywhere and hopefully collect a lot of congratulations, a lot of happy wishes, and maybe some deserved sweets along the way. Now, Be Our Guest Restaurant. As cool as it is to dine at Be Our Guest Restaurant in Magic Kingdom, this experience does not come cheap. To eat in Beast's Castle, you're looking at paying $67 per adult, $39 per kid for a prix-fixe meal. But if you still want that Beauty and the Beast experience, I've got a couple of alternatives for you that are going to cost you a lot less. The first is still part of Fantasyland, and it's still Beauty and the Beast themed. It's Gaston's Tavern, a quick service where you can pick up a cinnamon roll for $7 or a ham, provolone, and Swiss sandwich for a little over $11, or a LeFou's Brew for $6. Yeah, I know, Beast is superior to the likes of Gaston, but this place is still pretty cool and has a fun themed setting too, just like the tavern from the movie. You know, like the part where we learn about Gaston's morning diet regime and interior decorating habits. Expect to find a big stone fireplace, antlers galore, and of course a gigantic picture of the antagonist himself. If you're looking for more of a date night setting though, Enchanted Rose over at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa could be just the romantic vibe you're after. Instead of being influenced by the animated movie, Enchanted Rose is influenced by the live action film and has multiple rooms with gold, Baroque decor, and hidden Easter eggs of the characters around each section. Along with an extensive menu of specialty cocktails, you're also going to find appetizers served between 5 and 10 p.m., like the amazing house-made truffle fries for $14, the artisanal cheese selection for $19, and the hummus for $12. And remember how I talked earlier about how Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique could make you Bibbidi Bobbidi broke with nothing to show for it? Let's go a cheaper route for that too. There are multiple locations around Disney World property, in the parks and in Disney Springs, that offer face painting services with designs ranging from Ice Queen vibes to Princess Kitty Cat vibes to pirate vibes, you name it. Face painting is going to cost around $12 to $18 depending on the design. And if you want a free Bibbidi Bobbidi-like experience, check out Sir Mickey's gift shop in Magic Kingdom and track down a fairy godmother cast member holding a magic wand. If you ask them for a pixie dusting, they'll give you a nice dose of glitter on the spot. Remember to make a wish. Now, as merchandise prices continue to rise, this money-saving tip is more important now than ever before. You're going to want to purchase those souvenirs before you get to Disney World. Time to make a new fun Disney World memory for your kids while also saving major money in the process. Each morning, you can leave out a little souvenir surprise for your kids to wake up to. Maybe that's a Mickey plush or some Finding Nemo stickers or a little pair of mini ears for them to wear around the park. Whatever you choose, imagine their excitement when they see another special souvenir already pre-purchased and ready for them to play with now. No waiting in lines necessary. Okay, how are we going to pull off this magic trick without spending tons in each of the gift shops? Easy. We're going to do some shopping before your vacation. Disney merchandise is everywhere. You see it at big box stores, dollar stores, drugstores even. And often the Disney items you find back home are going to be way cheaper than they will be on Disney World property. If you've got real small kids in your party, more than likely they're not going to notice the difference between a Rapunzel doll from one of the stores in your hometown versus an authentic designer Rapunzel doll that costs a whole lot more in Disney Springs. But even if you did want to get your kids something more authentic to surprise them with at the Disney parks, you can always turn to the Shop Disney website and order park-specific merchandise online. Shop Disney often has major sales throughout the year that'll help you cut down on your souvenir expenses, meaning you could potentially get the same merchandise you would in the parks for 25% off or more online. Now, here's a tip you don't want to hear about, but listen to it anyways because the truth hurts sometimes. Remember, some snacks are just bad and you don't want to buy them and you don't want to spend money on them. Because you know what makes me feel real crummy? Continually spending money on Disney World snacks that I think are going to be really great, but ultimately let me down. So let me help you avoid that entirely so you can focus on buying the snacks you actually want to eat, okay? Okay, that's literally why I do what I do every day. We here at DFB are all about trying every single snack out there so we can give you the nitty-gritty details for your potential food contenders. We ask ourselves questions like, who's going to like this type of snack? Who's going to hate it? How big is the portion size? Do we think it's worth the amount we spent? What's the main flavor? What's shocked us about it? Are we excited to get it again? You know, the important stuff. And we cram all that information into our blog post reviews and to our DFB snack guides, along with gorgeous full color photos, which you can find in those guides and on the blog posts. And the guides, by the way, are over at dfbstore.com. And if you're looking for more ways to save on your Disney World dining journey, you can also check out our even bigger DFB guide to Walt Disney World Dining. That overview book, which is not only filled with 700 pages reviewing every single restaurant on Disney World property, but also has bonus money-saving chapters that zero in on our favorite snack budgeting methods too. Here's a quick sample for you in case you're interested. You can easily make several of the snacks around Disney World into a full meal that's going to cost you a lot less than even a fast food meal. This includes options like the poutine at the refreshment port in Epcot for $7.50, the pulled pork nachos at Captain Cook's in Disney's Polynesian Village Resort for about $10, and the Californian cheese and charcuterie plate at Baseline Tap House in Disney's Hollywood Studios. That's only $12.50. And now let's get back to even more ways to save on travel, and more travel. We're going to cut costs for your upcoming flights. Nothing kills the excitement of a vacation quite like having to pay all that money for your round trip flight. So let's try to knock down the price of that flight by using one or all of these money-saving tactics. First of all, you're going to check on rebooking policies. Even if you aren't super satisfied with the lowest flight prices you're finding right now, that doesn't mean you won't find a better one later on. If you feel like you have to book a flight now before prices get any higher, only to find out the prices for the destination you're wanting to go to are actually dropping, then you might be able to rebook your flight for that cheaper option, depending on what airline you choose. If you're going with a basic economy flight, rebooking may not be an option, but with airlines like Southwest, you can change your flight around without penalty fees. The Southwest website states that if your new flight costs less, we'll refund the difference to the original form of payment if applicable, or the difference will be held for future use in the form of a flight credit. Also, you can use apps that track flight prices. It's hard to know exactly when you should be flying when you can only see one flight day and one price point at a time, so different apps and websites like Hopper and Kayak and Google Flights can help you see the big picture. These apps will show you a bunch of different flight prices several months in advance across all different types of airlines. That way you can save yourself all the extra trouble while playing the flight price comparison game. Always fun. And don't forget to sign up and use those frequent flyer points. Here I am with the reward systems again. Whatever airline you decide to fly with, you can always sign up for a frequent flyer account and link it to your flight purchase. With an account, you can gain flight credits, which can be applied to future flights to help cut down on those hefty seat price tags. I actually signed my son up for a frequent flyer account when he was like 3. And he's basically got enough airline miles now to fly to Hawaii without me if he wants to, and he's only 9. So it really does add up, y'all, and it's free to join. And you want to try to cut down on baggage costs. Much like Disney World, airlines will try to hit you up with a whole lot of last-minute extras before your trip, like asking you if you'd like to add checked bags and seat preferences to your final total. More than likely, if you didn't need those add-ons when you were originally making that flight reservation, you probably don't need them now. But you just might. Before you add that extra bag to your overall total, look and see what checked bag fees are going to look like. Southwest allows travelers to check up to 2 bags for no extra cost, but for most other airlines, you're looking at an average of $30 to $50 per checked bag. Depending on the airline, you may also have to purchase a carry-on too. While many airlines like American and Delta will allow 1 personal item and 1 carry-on free of charge, budget airways like Spirit and Breeze are going to charge you extra for carry-ons, but you'll still be able to take a complimentary personal item to put under your seat like a backpack or purse. Now, here's a tip to take fewer bags. A lot of us always pack light here at TFB. Make your personal bag a backpack, just a full-on backpack, one of those nice ones with multiple zippers, because you can actually pack a whole lot in those things and still manage to fit it under your seat, which could help you not have to worry about a checked bag at all. Also, don't be afraid to do that tight roll. Tightly roll your shirts and your pants to make sure you're fitting in as many clothes as you can into one carry-on personal bag. I know they're going to look all ugly and wrinkled when you unpack them, but there should be an iron in your hotel or a steamer, or you just hang them up. And don't forget to just pack the essentials. Yes, add an extra pair of shoes, but you really don't need a different shoe for every day of your trip. And I know you probably got a dozen odd mini ears that you want to show off, but maybe choose 2 or 3 that are going to go with the outfits you've already packed. I know, it's hard. I'm asking you to do a difficult thing, but you can save a lot of money on luggage. That's all I'm going to say. Now, ready for a rather shocking savings tip next? No, seriously, this one's gonna blow your mind. Consider cheating on the Disney resorts. Okay, are we kidding here? How scandalous. Nope, not kidding. Although Disney World does have its value resorts, even a stay at Disney's All-Star Sports can wind up costing you $200 per night. So you may want to check in on those good neighbor hotels that partner with Disney but aren't owned by Disney. Or in an even more scandalous turn of events, you may just want to flat out check on other reliable hotels within the Orlando area, good neighbor or not. So what's one of the best ways you can save money by not staying directly in a Disney World hotel? Sign up for, you guessed it, rewards. You thought I was done talking about loyalty programs. Think again. But seriously, there are so many different and reliable loyalty programs that can help you save money while traveling. And I don't mean just traveling to Disney World, but traveling anywhere. You just have to find out what works best for you and read up on all the details of what's being offered to make sure it lines up with what you expect. In terms of loyalty programs for hotels like Hilton and Marriott and IHG, for instance, you can sign up for their memberships for free and earn points each time you stay at one of their properties, which you can then use to help cut down on the costs of future hotel stays. If you're a Hilton Honors member, you can use your loyalty program at Hilton-owned hotels near Disney World, including places like Ritz-Carlton or the Hilton Orlando Bonnet Creek. IHG members will be able to earn points while vacationing in and around Disney World by staying at sites like any of the Holiday Inn or Holiday Inn Express hotels, including the one that's mere steps away from Disney Springs. By the way, that particular Holiday Express has select rooms with balconies and fireworks views. Just saying. And Marriott Bonvoy members can earn and use points towards stays at the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin and the Swan Reserve. Also, be sure to keep an eye out for extra point offerings. Many hotel reward programs will run offers for bonus points if you stay a certain number of nights during a specific time frame. And I'm a sucker for some bonus points, y'all. Also remember that just being a member of some points programs will give you some benefits like later cancellation dates, so you can cancel your trip closer to your trip so you don't have to stress about losing a bunch of money. Now, quick word of warning though, it's usually better to book directly through these hotel sites than booking through different third-party sites like Priceline or Hotwire or Hotels.com. Although these sites may look like they're offering you a more affordable price point for your hotel stay, you may miss out on earning any rewards points through a specific hotel's program and getting all those bonus extras. Okay, time for some more food saving hacks. Don't worry, there aren't any membership programs hiding in this next point, I don't think. You can use better breakfast tricks. That old saying, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, may have more meaning than you realize. Not only is breakfast a good way to get you fueled for the day, but it can also help you save lots of money. For instance, popular restaurants that open early in the morning with and without character dining tend to be the cheapest meals you're going to find at these themed locations. While Cinderella's Royal Table is usually $67 per adult for lunch and dinner, breakfast prices are $45 per adult, and they still allow you to dine in the heart of Cinderella Castle, which is the whole point of going here in the first place, because the food isn't that great. And if you want to visit the ever-popular Chef Mickey's at Disney's Contemporary Resort to meet Mickey and friends in their finest chef attire, you'll have to pay $59 to see him during lunch and dinner, but that price drops down to $45 as well if you book a reservation for breakfast to see the exact same cast of characters. But here's another big breakfast plus for you. If you book a hearty breakfast at a place like Cape May Cafe at Disney's Beach Club Resort, Topolino's Terrace at Riviera, Whispering Canyon Cafe at Wilderness Lodge, or any other restaurant that serves super filling breakfast spreads, this meal could potentially feed you for 2 meals instead of 1. If you end up eating a later breakfast, we're talking about dining in the brunch zone here, you'll still be full by the time lunch rolls around, meaning you won't have to worry about paying for a whole other meal until dinner. But let me also just play devil's advocate here. Like I mentioned earlier, some folks just aren't keen on eating one big meal and would prefer eating several smaller meals throughout the day. So different strokes for different folks. And if that's the case for you, then you might want to skip out on breakfast entirely. Now, I'm not saying skip breakfast. You need that, but you could skip paying for breakfast in the parks and instead eat some breakfasty food items you have in your hotel room. Some that you've brought from home or had Instacarted to your hotel earlier in the week. Now don't worry folks, this isn't the end of the 2023 Disney World planning videos. We've got a ton of ideas in the works to help you navigate a trip to Disney World next year. So stay tuned, keep watching us as we wrap up this year and start looking forward to the next one. And don't forget to drop us your email at disneyfoodblog.com/2023 savings so you can have today's list of tips sent your way ASAP. Think of it as our early Christmas present to you. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.